The Tony Award-winning drama Lehman Trilogy is making its Boston debut at the Huntington Theater. The play follows the lives of three immigrant brothers from their arrival in America in the mid-1800s to the epic collapse of their family investment firm in 2008. Their story covers some of the toughest events and issues in the nation's history, including this country's economic roots in slavery and anti-Semitism. Here's a look.
Emmanuel met with buyers and sellers of cotton from all over New York. He signed deals with businessmen from Wilmington, Nashville, Memphis. He sold 100 tons of cotton.
Meyer visits the office at 119 Liberty Street, and he almost can't believe the size of it. As he arrives, they're putting up a new sign, yellow on black, just now painted by three local boys with the paint bucket still sitting in the street. Meyer stops and stares. Lehman Brothers Cotton from Montgomery, Alabama.
Now the play indirectly explores broader themes of power, exploitation, and societal consequences that can be connected to the historical legacy of capitalism. And in a bit of non-traditional casting, joining us now is Joshua David Robinson, who begins as Emmanuel Lehman, the middle brother in this drama. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now, while most people know how the storied investment firm, the Lehman Brothers, collapsed into bankruptcy, triggering the 2008 financial crisis, many don't know the story of how the Lehman Brothers began.
Yes, yes. And so this play will tell you a little bit about everything. So, you know, the Lehman Brothers came to America in the mid-1800s from Germany as immigrants, Jewish immigrants from Rimpar, Bavaria, Germany, and they actually landed in Alabama, of all places, and started their first industry, their first business there. Yes, we know about 2008, we know about the financial crisis, but we don't know that they made their first fortune in the cotton industry.
I wonder how they were, Jewish immigrants were received in Alabama.
It's a great question as well. You know, I think at the time when they first arrived, it was a slightly different time. It was before Reconstruction, so there wasn't like the Klan, and certain aspects of anti-Semitism weren't as baked in as they were after the Civil War, but I bet they didn't have a great go of it at that time.
I would imagine not.
Yeah.
Now, how does the Lehman Brothers journey tell us a story about the American dream?
It is truly a version of how the American dream kind of becomes a nightmare in ways. That, you know, these immigrants came looking for opportunity, and they did it. They did it. They came with just their wits and their work ethic and built an entire industry. They built generational wealth for their families, and in looking forward to supporting their own family, you know, things got a little off the rails, but it really is a prime example of the American dream.
Now, this is obviously a great play, Tony Award winner, but the play has been criticized in some corners for underplaying how the brothers built their business on the backs of slave labor, and how it failed to really address the African-American experience. You know, what do you think about that critique?
Well, I think that this play, the original play, was written by an Italian man and translated by a British man, and I think if there had been if there had been Americans, if there had been African-Americans involved in the gestation of the play, that's something that would have been certainly talked about a little bit more. And it's something that we've tried to feature in our production in a lot of ways. We can't change the script, but with casting, with the design, with kind of making it really hard to ignore the fact that cotton is a big part of what the Lehman story is. I think we're trying to address some of those criticisms. Yeah,
some of the subtle nuances lost by the writers, producers who didn't have that.
They didn't have the experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the brothers' legacy on capitalism as it intersects with racism?
Wow. I mean, capitalism and racism, to me, they are indelibly and forever linked, right? Because for me, capitalism it takes people and turns them into instruments in a machine, right? So the brothers' legacy is they were incredibly successful. They did it better than I think a lot of people have done it. They played the system, they used it to their advantage, and, you know, they weren't as concerned with outside of the family what effect it was having
Social
on.
justice wasn't a concept when they were coming up.
Thing when they were coming up. Yeah.
Now, you're one of 3 actors on the stage for a production that spans several generations of the Lehman family.
And several hours on stage.
And several hours. How do you play so many characters?
Honestly, as an actor, it's like catnip. It is being asked to essentially show all of your tricks is something that I think, for me as an actor, I've always dreamed of having the opportunity to do. So, we were talking about it earlier about how it's kind of like the Olympics of acting, being at the peak of your powers and getting asked to test yourself, push it to the limit, is something that's honestly like really enjoyable to do, as difficult as it is.
Of all the characters, which one resonates with you?
Herbert Lehman,
okay.
Who was at one point the governor of New York. And, I didn't know much about this man, like, historically going into the play, but it seemed like pretty good dude.
Yeah.
And as politicians go, it seemed like he was pretty well liked, because it seems like he was interested in politics and interested in getting into the position he got into because he had ideas about how to help people. And I'm sure to be a politician, sure, you have to have a certain amount of ego, this, that, and the other thing. But it seemed really like he was focused on what he could do from his position of power to make people's lives better.
I want to come back quickly to one point before we leave the segment. Tell us about the set and the use of the wooden crates and how it aids the story.
Yes, the set is truly gorgeous, very minimalistic, and so the set is all these different wooden crates, shipping containers, as if like we've all made this journey to America in these crates. And it allows, because it's so minimalistic, you end up being able to project onto these crates skylines, cotton fields.
And I see some cotton on the stage there.
Yes,
Again, a reference to the investment in the
cotton trade.
Business of slavery.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. It's a great play.
It really is. It really is.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
Joshua.
so much.
David Robinson, thank you for joining us. Everybody, the Lehman Trilogy is extending its Boston run, adding additional shows through Sunday, July 23rd. And thanks so much for watching today. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at CityLine5. And you can follow me on Twitter at Karen Holmes Ward. Have a great afternoon.